We are one, a diverse group of proudly kindred spirits, here not by coincidence, but because we choose to journey together. We are active and proactive. We care deeply. We live our love as best we can. We are one, working, eating, laughing, playing, singing, storytelling, sharing, and rejoicing, getting to know each other, taking risks, opening up, questioning, seeking, searching, trying to understand, struggling, making mistakes, paying attention, asking questions, listening, living our answers, learning to love our neighbors, learning to love ourselves, apologizing and forgiving with humility, and being forgiven through grace, creating the beloved community together. We are one.
Just trying to see, are there any young people or people feeling younger today? Anyone younger today than they were yesterday? All right, anyone wants to come up? I'm going to get a little space here to sit down. There we go. Oh, hello. Good to see you. Good morning, everyone. Oh my gosh, what month is it? October. Who loves October? Yes, it gets into the best quarter and 5 days of the year. Quarter, 10, 11, 12 months of the year, and then 5 days until my wife's birthday. So I call it Q4 plus 5. That's my favorite time of the year. So who would like to open up the Wonder Box? Let's go over here. I wonder what's in our Wonder Box today. Oh, excellent. Oh, I'm sorry. I kind of jumped the gun there. Oh my gosh, what a bunch of... Oh,
this is heavy.
Okay, let's start with this. Okay, everyone sit down. Okay. What is this? What is this? It's an earth. Is it heavy? You want to pass it around to your other friends here? Oh, right here. This is good. Yeah, it's an earth. Oh my gosh. And that's about the size of the earth. Is that right? Is that to scale? Is that to scale? Is that how big the earth is? No, the earth is actually just a little bit bigger? Way bigger. Yes, it is so big. Oh my gosh. How big does the earth feel sometimes? Does it feel like bigger than you could ever imagine? How many people have traveled to different parts of the earth? Anyone travel like all the way around and you're like, I'm still on the same earth? That's so far away. Or how many people have driven to Indianapolis during some traffic and you're like, I'm still on the same earth? It's so long. I've been in my car for so long. You went to Mexico? Oh my gosh. So there's so many little places on here that make me think, you know what? This is big. You can hold it. I need someone to grab the next thing. Yeah, okay. What else is in here? What? That was not a good reaction. Let's see what is in there. Oh, hold it up. Oh, it's a little baby doll. What is this? What is this? Baby. You want to hold the baby? Oh, gentle. Okay, ready for child care. So that's a baby. You can pass it along to others. Oh my gosh, that's a pretty big baby. That's what I would say. Is that a big baby? Normal size baby, maybe. Are babies big or are they small? Are they small? How many of you are bigger than this baby? Here, let me see. Let me see, sweetie. Thank you. How many of you are bigger than this? Should we do a height comparison? Yes, just a little bit bigger. Yes, you are. So sometimes we look at babies and we say, oh, they're so small. But you know what? Guess what? This baby usually gets much bigger. They usually don't stay this small. They get bigger and bigger and bigger. They get as big as this whole earth. No, not that big, but they get really big. And here's the thing. The earth is made up of a bunch of what? Babies. Well, actually, adult babies and baby adults. That's right. All of us make up this little earth. So this is big, and this feels almost too big to comprehend sometimes. And this is small. This baby is small. But also, that in this case it is. This baby actually is going to do really big things. Do you do big things in life? What's a big thing you've done in your life?
Help my friends,
Help your friends?
and also going to different parts and helping others.
Helping others, yes. In that moment when you're helping that person or your friend, does that feel like, oh, thanks, it was a little thing? Or that was a big thing. That was a big thing. You made a big impact. And are you going to say, well, I didn't help the whole world, so I didn't do anything? No, you say, I helped that person, and that made a big difference in that person's life. And similarly, you could say, oh my gosh, the world is so big. How am I going to help people over here and here and here? It's too big to help, right? But the world is just cut up in all these little spots. Oh, that's something too. It's not a part of my object lesson today. This is a good reminder that both the big and the small are not as big and small as we like to think. Maybe we are both big and small. The world is both big and small. Each of you can have small and big impacts in people's lives. And together, when we take all our small impacts, those become bigger impacts. And when we think about our connection here in community and we connect those to other communities, boy, we're starting to feel like connected, like we are one, like across the world, across the earth, across southern Indiana, across the Interfaith campus, across this room, right? So, what did you say? The earth is see-through. Nice. Yeah, you just got to look closer. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to be looking more about the world that we're living in, the systems and the ecosystems that we live in. And you all are going to go out and play and learn more in your classes right now, okay? So we're going to sing you off. I'll take the world in my hands, the whole world in my, wait a minute. And we'll take the baby. I'll take the baby, and we'll sing you off to your classes today. Go have a great day.
I want to share with you this morning a reflection that I wrote in thinking about the circles that I currently move in and the circles that I've had the privilege of being a part of in the past. So my high school health teacher had a very interesting way of teaching anatomy. She had a large box of silicone replicas, and each student got hands-on time with both genders in the name of equality, which was very progressive 20 years ago. One afternoon, she passes out all the learning aids, and just as she does, another teacher pops her head in the classroom and informs her that she has an important call in the office that she must go take right now. We all saw it. The moment the realization struck our teacher that she was about to have to leave 30 teenagers, unsupervised, with hands full of fake private parts. Yeah. The abject horror that washed over that woman's face. She turned on her most stern teacher voice and told all of us that she would be right back and we should respectfully continue our lesson. Yeah. There was a solid 30 seconds of silence after the door closed. You could have heard a pin drop as we all collectively realized the amazing position we found ourselves in. I do not know who threw the first one, but the moment that silicone slapped the wall in the front of the classroom, all hell broke loose. It was pure chaos. Appendages were flying across the classroom at lightning speed as each of us launched our learning aids at each other. We had about 5 minutes of making high school history that day. One boy had a nipple mark on his forehead, and 2 of the girls were sword fighting. Mel Brooks himself could not have written a better scene than the pandemonium that unfolded in that classroom. Eventually, we heard her very intentionally loud footsteps coming back up the stairs and quickly ran back to our seats. We had just made it back, and as she walked in the door, and we were desperately trying to slow down our breathing and act natural. We thought that we had pulled it off. And for a brief moment, I believe she thought that we had behaved ourselves. But then her eyes locked in on something in the distance beyond the large wall of windows in the back of the classroom. One by one, we all caught on and turned around to see what she was looking at. At some point in our chaos, a pair of testicles had quietly slipped out of one of the open windows in the back of the classroom and now lay perched on the first-story roof, just basking in the midday sun. Suddenly, every teenage pair of eyes in the room started to bore intensely into their desks, and none of us spoke English. We received what was probably the most stern talking to in the entire history of the school, but not a single one of us cracked. 30 teenagers cooperated on a level that the world has never seen from kids that day. Ultimately, my health class was the reason that those learning aids got retired. So I tell that story so that I can ask this question. Were we bad kids? Were we delinquents? Were we headed for lives of crime? Or were we just kids? Our congregation will spend the next 6 weeks talking about building communities and how each one of us can hold a special place within those communities. Can we find a place for our kids to contribute while still accepting that they're just kids? And they will act like kids, but it doesn't diminish their contributions here. They will be loud, they will be inappropriate, and they will make poor choices, but they are still a very important part of our whole. Let us accept them for who they are, and remember that we will probably laugh about their teenage mischief later on. The social change framework embodies the idea that we are all part of an ecosystem, and that when we come together around shared values and goals and play our roles effectively and collaboratively, we can make our boldest visions a reality.
An ecosystem is a community, a home, or a place and space where we feel a sense of belonging, familiarity, and alignment around our values, goals, and strategies for the future, and where we emphasize the importance of cultivating, nurturing, and sustaining relationships, connections, and solidarity.
When we come together to do social change work in ecosystems, we are accountable to others. We seek consent and permission as needed for our actions, and we receive and offer collaboration and care.
Here are a few characteristics that we often find in thriving social change ecosystems.
Interdependence. Our success is indirectly or directly related to each other.
Shared energy source. We hold a shared set of values and goals that fuel our actions.
Reciprocity. We actively exchange resources and information rather than hoard, gatekeep, cancel, or compete. We are accountable to those in our ecosystem.
Adaptation to change. We are flexible and dynamic, and we pivot to meet changing conditions and crises.
Diversity. We invite and experiment with different strategies, narratives, and ideas, including those that make us uncomfortable.
Preservation. We tend to our relationships. We preserve what future generations may require in terms of stories, values, and histories.
Complexity. We are comfortable with nuance and complexity. We don't box ourselves in through binary-based thinking. We expect conflict and discern generative ways to repair it if possible.
Capacity to evolve. We welcome transformation. We believe that people, institutions, and systems are able to change. I am a lover of language. I love words, phrases. Really, my love language, if I had to choose, is language itself. For after all, it is through language that we are able to communicate and connect. It is through language that we make meaning of our lives and share that meaning with others. It is through sharing language together that we move through the unknown to the known, through mystery and possibility, through the wrestling of fear and hope, into the creation of something new and beautiful and fecund. I know that not all language is beautiful. Some is harmful. Some language hurts us, can kill. Some language can divide us, turn us against each other, and trick us into not recognizing that we are all born of the same matter, that is, love. And we are all born in order to love this world and extend that love with each act of love we are able to offer in this life. Therefore, because I am a lover of language, I try to pay close attention to the words I speak or write, especially when it is in community or with another person, because our words matter and they have power and consequence. The language we come to use as Unitarian Universalists will shape how we see the world, or at least in part, how we see one another and how we see ourselves. Simply put, how we communicate through language, how we foster a shared vocabulary and framework for our lives together in community will significantly determine how effective we will be in carrying out our mission as a congregation to celebrate love and work for justice as we strive toward our shared vision to be a beacon for diverse religious thought and courageous action. This is why this fall sermon series is intended to invite us into the work of social change through the engagement of new language, or perhaps new to some of us, about ways of being in community that may, I hope, come to profoundly transform our lives and help us to live with greater integrity and be steadfast in our values and commitments in life. The language before us to consider is the Unitarian Universalist Association's 2025-2026 Common Read, which is titled Social Change Now, A Guide for Reflection and Connection by Deepa Iyer. Over the next 6 Sundays, including this Sunday, we will be exploring different aspects and implications and possible integrations of her work here in how we shape community as Unitarian Universalists in this congregation, how we do so as part of an interfaith campus with 4 other congregations that meet here, and as part of a broader pluralistic society as a regional community in southern Indiana. Each Sunday service will add unique language and commentary to the message of Iyer's work, and yet there is a cumulative benefit and impact of attending as many of the services as you are able. Additionally, we will begin, as I mentioned, 3 after-service workshops beginning after this service, and then again on October 19th and November 9th. I hope you will participate in as much as you are willing and able to do. This service, however, is just the beginning. It is about laying the groundwork so a framework, like framing a home, is possible. Today we are invited to think about the language we use to consider what we call this thing we do together here is. I mean, like this, all of us here together. Some of us call it UUCCI, and some say UU community or UU, or just community, or congregation, or the congregation. I've noticed a lot of these words we use start with the letter C. Some of us intentionally are not. We use another word that starts with the letter C. Instead of congregation, we sometimes interchange with the word church to refer to our community, even though we've never been a church, legally or theologically. Another C word would be campus, like an interfaith campus, or C as in Columbus, area, of course. Love all my other counties here. C could also be, in a way, a coven, which is more a chosen word for our pagan interfaith partners that they use at Tree of Knowledge. Of course, on the same hand, the word coven also reminds me of another word that starts with C, covenant. Covenant, as in, how do we think about or do covenant? How do we care for another and this world in which we live? But whether we call it this or that, this here, whatever you call it, I hope we can come to see how beautiful what we have here is, not just in these difficult political times, like I'm so glad it's here right now, but all the time, all the days of our living. That this right here, all of us and all our children and youth and those not here this Sunday and rippling outwards towards our interfaith partners and our wider community, this is beautiful. This is a gift, and it is worthy of tending and stewarding for generations to come. One way we might come to value this space in which we have gathered more deeply is by looking more closely at how it works. Sometimes we can be so focused on what is next, what is on the horizon before us, that we fail to look around and notice what is right here, right now. We are a naturally forward-looking people, and as one of our songs suggests, we revere the past, but we trust the dawning future more. At the same time, we must honor that third place and time, that present moment, the as is, the current state of existence, if we are to meet this moment now in which we live. So the word I offer us to try out today doesn't begin with a C. That would have been too good. Instead, it starts with an E, and it's alluded to in the title of the sermon. That's right, it's ecology, or more specifically, an ecosystem, which we might take as a bringing together of a way of thinking ecologically about a given system or group, in our case, a congregation. So an ecosystem then is what Deepa Iyer uses as the grounding concept for her social change framework, and it is important to start here and to understand why. First, let's define again what she means by an ecosystem. In the reading this morning, Missy and I shared this definition. Quote, an ecosystem is a community, a home, or a place and space where we feel a sense of belonging, familiarity, and alignment around our values, goals, and strategies for the future, and where we emphasize the importance of cultivating, nurturing, and sustaining relationships, connections, and solidarity. When I read that definition, I thought, hey, that could be a way we think about our community here at UUCCI, like an ecosystem. Second, in reviewing the characteristics she lists of thriving ecosystems, I saw even more connections to our UU community and to Unitarian Universalism in general. And it all relates to the language she uses and that we use. For example, UU's adopted and restated our shared values in 2024. These are the values we seek to embody in our lives and relationships and congregations, in essence, as a wide ecosystem that makes up our Unitarian Universalist world and worldview. Some of the characteristics of thriving ecosystems intersect directly with our shared values. For example, one of the UU shared values is interdependence, which is the exact same word Iyer uses to describe thriving social change ecosystems. Additionally, the pairings between UU values and thriving ecosystems include generosity on the one hand and what Iyer calls reciprocity. Or the UU values of transformation is another major theme in thriving ecosystems with several characteristics referring to it, including adaptation to change and capacity to evolve. Further, diversity and preservation in thriving ecosystems relate to our values of justice and equity. The UU value of pluralism goes hand in hand with complexity, which celebrates nuance, and avoids binary-based thinking. So if you were doing some quick calculations or note-taking, you may notice I missed one characteristic of thriving ecosystems and also one of our shared values of Unitarian Universalism. It's not a trick or a test. In the image of the UU shared values, there are indeed 6 that surround one that is in the center, and that is love. It says, in the language of our values, love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. In this sense, love is both the center and the foundation of our ecosystem, which Iyer would describe it as thriving if it embodies a shared energy source, which is the last one. Or as she states, one that, quote, holds a shared set of values and goals that fuels our actions. Okay, I think I've made the point that there are clear links between UU values and thriving ecosystems. However, just like with the best laid plans and delicious recipes for life, the proof is in the pudding and in the walking and the journey that we take. And so we come back to us being an aspirational people, a forward-looking people, a people that do not stay still but move. Indeed, a movement of progressive religious people committed to celebrating love and working for justice. Yes, a people that works tirelessly to be a beacon for diverse religious thought and courageous action. What gets us from here to there is how much we come to love the language that we share, and how much we come to allow it to inspire us to connect with the genuine longing within each of us, and collectively to build beautiful homes in the places we inhabit. What a beautiful thought, to be builders of home, tending to the temple of your own heart, the sanctuary of this congregation, the sacred grounds of this campus, and the shared home of our one precious earth, for which we must now care and steward for the generations to come next. Whether you look inside yourself to move outward, or by looking outward you are able to get in touch with your own essence, whether you think global or act local or vice versa, no matter how we swing on the pendulum of conscious care and concern for the big and the small, the all of our existence of this precious life is found in the communion with one another and our choice to love in such a way that we can change to live with ever greater integrity and alignment between the values in which we live and the ecosystems in which we build. The ecosystems of this world are precious and vulnerable, and that is true for both the natural forming ecosystems of nature and those that are human-made, those that are also at threat, like the democratic system or the public school system or the systems that uphold basic human rights, like the ability to freely congregate, a C word, whether for protest or for the free exercise of religion. These ecosystems are one in the same in their fragility and in their strength. And so it is my hope for all of us in this home that we inhabit for however long we do, no matter what you call it, and in this ever-widening circle of care and concern across this world, that we come to tend to one another and the gift of this life that we share, so that we might not just survive in the days to come, but learn to thrive, to regenerate life, to heal ecosystems, and find new pathways for brighter tomorrows where all may be once more. May it be so. And amen.